Hello everyone, it's Andy Glen here from SharksTV, welcoming you to another podcast. And this time I'm joined by Liam Stenton. Liam, how are you doing?
I'm alright, Andy. Thanks for having me on. I've been looking forward to a really individual podcast.
Yeah, you've been waiting a long while. The last time we spoke was probably just as you signed, eh?
I think it would have been, to be honest, yeah. I mean, we've had a little conversation after one of the games up the stairs as well, but yeah, I think on camera, I think it's been since I signed, eh?
Ah, well, this is the in-depth Liam Stenton interview you've all been waiting on, surely. What's your thoughts on the season so far? And I mean in general terms of the whole league, the teams you thought would be near the top, the teams that you think near struggling at the bottom, near the bottom. Where do you think we're at?
I think the league's really good. Obviously, I've coming down from the elite league. It's a little bit different for me. I didn't quite know what to expect coming in, but I think it's the league's really good. The standard's really good. There's a lot of good players in the league. There's a lot of good teams in the league. Personally, our team-wise, I don't want it to be a little bit higher up the table right now, sitting at the bottom. But I mean, 4 points at this weekend could make all the difference. But yeah, I think we've been doing well. A lot of mistakes are costing us here and there, but we've been performing pretty well. We've been doing good for a team that's just moved into the league as well. So if you look at likes of Bristol and Hull for our benchmark last season, they're coming up into this league. They were getting hammered by some teams, and I feel like I think our biggest blowout was 7-3. That was just the weekend past there, and one period kind of cost us that game. But we've been within between 1 and 3 goals every game, I think. So we've been doing pretty well.
Has the standard been as you would expect, higher, lower, or about what you expected?
To be honest, I think it's a little bit higher than what I expected. I wasn't expecting to come in here and be able to run riot. That was the last thing I wanted to do, because it's never good for your development if you're just taking control all the time. But it's been a good challenge for me. I've enjoyed it, playing against different players that I've maybe not played against before or played with before. But there's a few in the league that I've played with Great Britain with in different tournaments and stuff when I was playing with Scotland when I was younger. But yeah, I think the standard's a lot higher than I expected it to be.
Who's been your standout players? Who's been the players you've just thought they are really, really good to play against or play with?
Put me in the spot a little bit here. Obviously, Kieran Brown goes without saying, top point scorer in the league last year. He's good. A few other boys in the league team. I played with Matt Haywood when I was in Glasgow here before. He's settled in really well in this league. He's doing a good job. But honestly, I could rattle off multiple names right now. I don't want to bore you with all that. But there's a lot of good players in this league. There's a lot of players that play their role in this league really well. I mean, Matt Haywood, he'll be able to say himself, he was not a big goal scorer in the elite league. He was a shutdown guy. He was a defensive guy. But look at him now. He's putting up points and he's enjoying himself again, and that's the main thing.
The reason I asked you the question, Liam, is that I think as a fan, being used to coming along at the Shark Tank, getting my beer, sitting down, watching the Sharks hammer whoever they were playing, it was okay, but it was getting a bit boring. Now, I think as a fan, I'm probably much more appreciative of the opposition, and I'm actually really enjoying watching the talents like Brown and Haywood, Gospel from the Leeds games. But there's a whole, every team's got some really, really good players, and to see them up close against the Perspecs, it's just an absolute joy. I'm loving watching the Sharks this year.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you said, the opposition's good. We've came a long way since last year as well. Even the year I was here before that, we were still beating teams. Like, some teams would come in and you don't even need to turn up. Like, personally, you need to show up and do a job, but for half the game until you're 10-0 up, and then you can just kind of let the boat sail itself. I mean, it's not as fun. It's fun scoring all the goals, but I'd rather win 2-1 than win 14-1. Yeah. Like, I'd rather be in a game. I'd rather be in a battle. Like, I love coming off the ice, getting ice packs on my legs, all bruised. I love that. I mean, it sounds pretty stupid, but that's why you play hockey. You play it because you enjoy the battle, you enjoy the fun, and it is fun. Playing games that are tight is more fun than getting beat, to be honest. Well,
talking about ice packs and legs and all the rest of it, I have noticed that after most games, you've got an ice pack somewhere. You've taken a lot of knocks. It's hard physical stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in a defensive zone, obviously I'm a defenseman. I get put out on a lot of penalty kills. I'll happily jump in front of most shots. I mean, I don't say all shots, but most shots. If I can get in the way, I'll get in the way before it gets through to Callum. If Callum can't see it, I'll get out the way so that he can see it. Yeah. But at my role, especially on a penalty kill, I'll get in front of every shot that I can. I've taken a couple. I took one off the ankle, which has been a kind of prolonged injury, but I'm kind of coming out the other side of that now. Got a little bit of a bad hit on Sunday night here. Bit of a knee on knee. I mean, I personally think there should have been a penalty called, but that's not my call at the time. But getting there, it's still a little bit sore, but it should be good for the weekend.
Yeah, I think the official called it shoulder and shoulder.
Yeah. I've watched it back.
And you hobbled off a knee injury. And you got a sore one in Telford, as I remember, as well.
Yeah, that was the ankle. That
was the ankle.
Shot off the ankle. So it's getting better. It's still niggle every now and again, but plenty of ice, plenty of elevation, compression, and I'm getting there.
Well, as I said earlier on, Liam, the last time that we chatted was as you signed for the Sharks, and that was huge news. I mean, every Sharks fan was just delighted to see you back. I'm going to ask you an awkward question now. You said it was one of the most difficult decisions you'd ever had to make in your life. You are where you are now. Was it still the right decision?
Yeah, I think it was for me personally. At the time, it's like I said, it was probably the toughest decision I'd had to make in my career so far. Going to the Elite League, signing that 2-year contract was what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
At the time, I wanted to play. It showed that Glasgow had their faith in me, that I had my faith in Glasgow. At no point did I think the Sharks would be turning professional and moving up to the National League. Even when it happened, well, there were rumours at the end of that season, there was rumours of it happening. I still wasn't 100% sure. I was going back to Glasgow. I was set on that. Then it happened. A million thoughts went through my head. I mean, personally, do you want to... The way I looked at it, do you want to stay in the Elite League and potentially get between 6 and 12 minutes a night? Or do you want to come down to Dumfries and get somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes a night, playing on penalty kills, power plays, playing in all situations? Or do you want to sit on the bench for all them situations and just go out 5-on-5 on a third line? Maybe not even play the role that I've played for most of my career. I mean, I'm quite an offensive defenseman and I can be a stay-at-home defenseman. I need to. In the Elite League, I was just the guy that would get put out. I'd do a job, I'd make a pass, get off the ice. I'd get on, I'd block a shot, I'd make a pass, get off the ice. It was just doing the simple things. Whereas coming down that level, I feel like I've got a bit more of a role. The coaches here obviously trust me. They've coached me for all my career apart from last year, pretty much. I've got a lot of trust in Martin and Jamie. They know me well, probably know me very well. Maybe even more than my girlfriend, my parents know me at this point. But they've been great with me. I mean, I spoke to Craig Peacock when he obviously got the general manager role. Good friend of mine. He took his general manager hat off at the time when I spoke to him. He went straight in with, "I'm your friend. Here's my advice. Take what you want with it." And then hung the phone up. Didn't want to speak to me about general manager stuff. Just wanted to speak to me as a friend, and that was it. So I went away, spoke to my family, spoke to my girlfriend, spoke to Martin and Jamie again, spoke to Peaks again, and I spoke to Gareth, and it was just the right thing for me to do. I feel like now sitting here talking to you, I still feel like it's the right choice for me. I'm enjoying hockey. I mean, not that I didn't enjoy it last year. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. Glasgow were great for me. The Elite League was good to me. I mean, I played the Elite Series. I played nearly 2 full years in the Elite League. The odd game when Fitzgerald was in charge in Glasgow as well. And I loved it. I loved every minute of it. I loved playing in that role. I did enjoy playing as that guy that they throw out. I'd do a job and I get off the ice. I was kind of the guy they looked to do that job. Like if they need a guy out there just to go and block a shot, just to make a pass, just to get the puck out the zone, that was me. And I enjoy playing in that role. But I missed the point of the coaches looking at me and going, get out there, every situation. And that's the part I enjoy most.
I think you had a huge number of fans in Glasgow as well, and I think the way that you've moved back to the Sharks is with dignity and a lot of respect still from the Glasgow clan. I don't think there's a door shut to you for going back there, perhaps, but I think you're right in terms of perhaps what's the best thing for your development in hockey. Ice time really does it, I guess, but I know you're still a firm favourite with the fans in Glasgow, and you're obviously very much a fan favourite down here in Dumfries. And it's been great to see you back. And you know, you're right about not just a stay-at-home defenseman. Scored a few goals this season already, some in the pre-season games, but some in the league as well. So it's great to see you back, and it's an absolute privilege to watch you week in, week out, if you don't mind me saying. But before I pump your tyres any more, we have to talk about some of the fun aspects, because you said you're having fun here.
Yeah.
Right, playlists and music and all that sort of stuff. Because if you've never been at the bar upstairs after the game, do yourself a favour. Stay back, come upstairs, get a beer and listen to me interview some players straight after the match, because they say some random things. And I have to say, Coco dissed your playlist a wee bit, didn't he?
I mean, start of the year, I took it upon myself. Nobody else kind of volunteered, so I took it upon myself to put music on in the room. I got Kel's right into his dance music. I quite like a bit of rock, bit of punk rock. So I kind of collaborated a bit of everything together, put it into a playlist, and it was just put on shuffle every night. Coco then complained that my music choices were too erratic, so he took it upon himself. So
I think to be fair to Conor Henderson, he said the reason that we were losing was because of your playlist. I mean, didn't he say erratic? I mean, he was writing about it. I
just
mean,
about to go into that. So he took over, and again that didn't help us. Then Kieran Hare took over. He took over the music and we won. That was our 4-point weekend.
Kieran picked the one for our 4-point weekend, right?
So he was in charge of the music for that. Then.
Right, can I ask, why did we bump Hairdo after a 4-point weekend?
So Hairdo was then in charge in Milton Keynes. Obviously, that happened. So then Coco got it back for Leeds. Obviously, we never won that game. So I don't know if it'll be back to me, if it'll be back to Kieran. Don't know if someone else is going to step up and try and take the reins. But
can somebody play some music that we're going to win to? That's just all I'm asking,
pretty much,
right?
Mate. I don't know if it's hockey players are pretty superstitious, so it might just be a superstitious thing. It might just be a bit of a laugh, but I don't mind. I like every kind of music. You put any song on and I'll jig away at it. I'll sing some lyrics that I pretend I know. But
I'm liking the stuff that Craigie puts on at the warm up. You know, players picking 6 tunes to play in the warm up. There have been some questionable playlists and there's been some good ones.
I mean, Conor Henderson's was 6 mix after he slaughtered me up the stairs, and he was more erratic than I was. I think he went from
it was all over the place.
I don't know what kind of tune to something that I felt like I was in a nightclub, and then a bit of Joker and the Thief I think was next, and a bit more erratic than me, to be honest.
He played Joker and the Thief. That was one of the better ones, I think, from his list. But we're putting it out there, so. That is about having fun, though, isn't it?
Definitely.
It's bonding with your teammates, isn't it?
In the room, it's all about that. You've got to have a laugh at each other. If you don't have a laugh at each other, you end up hating each other. And sometimes you want to punch people in the face, but you've just got to have a laugh and get on with it.
Are the overseas players getting any say in this music thing at all? Are they just getting to tell this is how it is?
There's a stereotype thing that Canadians are all into country music, and from what I'm aware of, every time I've come into the room and Nolan and Olivia have been first, there's been country music on.
Really?
So, I mean, I quite like country music. I was at Luke Combs a couple of weeks ago.
Craner was a big country
fan, yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I quite like a bit of country as well, so I can't complain, honestly. Put anything on and I'll be happy with it.
All right, that should be diplomatic with everybody there. I can be brutal. Okay, moving on. You're still a young man. You know what? 21, 22? 21. You know, still young, and have done so much. The under-20s is coming up here in Dumfries. So you got anything to do with it? You helping anybody out with this at all, or are you just full on with work?
Not that I'm aware of right now. I mean, it's still October, so got till December for anybody to come along and ask if they need anything done. I mean, I don't think I'll be helping team-wise. Martin and Dale Keane, Tom Watkins is in there as well now. They've got themselves pretty worked out. My dad's obviously the kit man, so I'll be staying away from him for a couple of weeks, letting him get on with it. I might be in helping around the rink. Struan spoke to me about potentially doing some stuff with the VIP area. I mean, I don't know if that's set in stone yet. Don't know if I'll be busy. I'll have to see my work schedule as well, but hopefully I'll be able to get in. I'll definitely coming to watch the games. Definitely be watching the Great Britain games at minimum. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, to be fair. It's good to get international hockey back in the ice rink, especially in men's under 20s, which I've played in. I know how competitive that can be. Obviously, I was in Romania a couple years ago after COVID. That was my last year, and I really enjoyed going away with Great Britain. It's a good two and a bit weeks. You go away, you bond with the boys. Some boys you might never see again. Some boys you might play against. Some boys you might play with. I mean, I played with Mason. I was in Hungary. That was my first year away, and I don't think I'd seen him since I went to Hungary with him. And I picked them up from the boat in Stranraer, and it was as if we'd never been away from each other. It was great. We spoke the whole way home, had a good laugh, went over some memories, and
brilliant.
Yeah, it's always good. It's always good. I really enjoy the tournaments with Great Britain.
Well, if you've not got your tickets yet, I think are they on sale yet?
I just actually, when I came in the rink this morning, I seen a big poster down the stairs with a QR code and stuff on it. So
right, get yourself along here. And Kel Beattie's the only Shark that is in the squad, so it'll be good to see him. But of course, you've got Martin and Liam's dad, Peam, who's going to be there. So get along and show your support to our local Sharks and the GB team. Looking forward to the rest of this season, Liam, how do you see it playing out?
Who knows, Andy? Who knows? I mean, we could. We went on a 6-game skid at the start of the year. We could now go on a 6-game winning streak. It's a toss of the dice. You don't know. There's one way I want it to go, but I mean, there's probably most of the fans are wanting that as well, coaching staff. But there's only one way you want it to go, but there's many ways it can go.
Well, as we record this, we're sitting at the bottom of the table, so you know we're looking to move up that table.
100%.
Do you reckon playoffs is? I mean, I know it's achievable. Do you think it's likely?
Yeah, personally, I do. I feel like we've not played our best. I don't think we've played a full 60 minutes yet of our best hockey. I mean, that might never come. We might have to scrape by with 50 minutes of good hockey and 10 minutes of scrappy hockey. But I mean, we're working as hard as we can to get a full 60 together. I mean, it's tough. We're training 3 times a week. Some guys have got jobs 9 to 5. Some guys are working shifts. Some guys aren't working at all. But it's hard to stay on top of everything through the full season. Like everybody in any league, NHL down to NIHL 2, there's going to be teams that go through slumps together. There's going to be teams where individuals go through slumps. It's never easy to play your best hockey every game you play it, every minute you play it. There's going to be times where you're not your best, and you've just got to strap the boots on and climb that hill and get over the top of it and get down the other side and get playing your best again.
I think that's one thing that us as fans need to be educated on. We spend our time on Facebook or Twitter or wherever it is, typing out our wonderful ideas on how the Sharks should play, no understanding the amount of effort that it takes to do a 9-to-5 job to keep food on the table, roof over your head, 3 nights training away every weekend. It's an effort, and it's clear that players try all the time.
Oh, 100%.
It's just that little difference. That's the difference between winning and losing in this league, it seems.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's not one player in that team that comes in thinking, "Oh, I'm not going to try tonight." Everyone's giving 100%. I mean, like I said, it's sometimes teams go through a slump together where everyone's going through that slump where they can't perform at their best, and that's just you've just got to roll with the punches in that situation. You just got to get on with it and try and find your feet again and get going.
I think one thing that I notice with you, Liam, and I kind of alluded to this in the podcast that we did with Martin. And if you haven't seen that podcast, why no? Get on it, have a wee watch, Insta and all the rest of it. It's brilliant. Anyway, as I said to you in that podcast, Liam, I see how much the Sharks means to you and how much you care about this club, and I see you trying to take everything on your own shoulders at times. Is that how you feel during the games?
Sometimes not at the time. At the time, I'm thinking I'm doing the right thing here, but then I come off a shift and I think, what am I doing? That's not my role. I need to get back to square one and sort myself out. Some games I'm playing some of my best hockey, and I feel like maybe I can make that extra jump or make that extra pass or make that extra move, make that extra shot, and then sometimes it doesn't work. When it does work, it pays off. High risk, high reward. That's something I always say. My D partner Stuart Kelvin on the ice. And when I make a mistake, sometimes it's a mistake that could have been very avoidable. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's a mistake where it is a high risk, high reward part where you might make a pass through the neutral zone that if it lands on the guy's tape is on a breakaway. If it doesn't, it's a potential turnover and it comes back 2-on-2. But I mean, me and Stuart have been playing together for I think most of my senior career until I moved to Glasgow, and we've got a really good bond together. We play off each other really well. It's almost telepathic. We know where each other are going to be at most times on the ice, and we have a little bit of a laugh. And he even says to me on the bench, like, "You're fine. Like, you don't need to win the game for us. Like, we've got players in the team that can score goals. We've got players in the team that can do this, do that." And yeah, I feel like sometimes I just take too much on, and I've got to wind myself back in and realise that it's not my role to do everything. I've got my role and I've got to stick to it.
I didn't mean to come across as a criticism at all. I think it's the passion that I see in you and other fans see in you, and that's why we love you. I mean, I'm loving the idea that you're sitting there thinking this is a high risk, high reward pass. It's maybe got about a 70-80% chance. I mean, it's that fast. How do you even have time to think that?
My brain goes 100 miles an hour out there. It's funny. One of my good friends, Michael, when we go fishing and camping and stuff together, so we're driving along back roads, and he says to me sometimes, like, I react before he's even seen things. And I think that's just the work I'm in. Like, I'm used to reacting fast to things, and and making decisions really quickly. And sometimes he just sits there and goes, I never even seen that happening before it happened. And it's just like little things like that. You need to know where a guy's stick's been, and you need to know where it's going to be. Like you come out the zone as a defenseman, you come out the zone, you're looking to make a pass. You need to know if that guy's curling that way, he's on his forehand or backhand. The guy you're giving it to, if he's on his forehand or backhand, if he's what kind of pace he's going at, you need to give it where on the ice. And it's a game of margins, it's a game of percentages, and it's high risk, high reward. Sometimes doesn't work in your favour. And Martin will probably go through me for saying this, but I quite like a high risk, high reward play.
Martin will not watch this. So when you're saying, you're looking at somebody in their forehand or backhand, do you have time to think that, or is it almost instinctive?
It's kind of instinctive. Like sometimes you've got a little bit more time than you think, and you make the wrong decision. But then other times you've not got as much time as you think, and then again you make the wrong decision by holding on it too long. But yeah, the game happens so fast. There's a lot to think about during the game. We're skating about the ice on inch thick bits of blades. So you've got a lot to think about, but most of that comes instinctively, like you said. Like skating just seems natural to me now. I mean, growing up, obviously you were thinking about it a lot more, but now it's just like walking. Like you just do it. Your brain knows how to do it. But the aspect of making passes, shooting, making plays, reading other players' plays, knowing where the other team's going to be. I mean, it's hard. It's very difficult.
It's not even just your own team; it's the opposition
100%.
as well.
Yeah, you've got to know where they are. You've got to know. It's almost you've probably heard it in football and hockey terms. You've got to read it.
Yeah.
Like you read it. Some players can read it like a book, they say, and they just know what's going to happen, and they can almost look to the future and know where that guy's going to go, knowing on how he's facing, what way he's going, where his stick is, and you've just kind of got to you learn it as you grow. And I mean, hopefully, I can learn it a lot more than I do right now, and our team can start to click that way, and we start to read games a lot better.
You're making me smile now about reading the game. Who's the best player you've played with for reading the game? Because I've got somebody in my head.
Oh, there's probably a few, but off the top of my head right now, because of my team, John Dunbar can read the game very well. I mean, I said to some of the local boys when they didn't quite know what to expect with him, I said to him, if you're standing anywhere on the ice and he's got the puck in his stick, expect it to land on yours. Because he can thread a pass very, very well. He's known for it. Through the Elite League, I think he had more assists than he had goals. He's a playmaker. Like he can put it through a guy's legs and it lands straight in your tape. You wouldn't even see the pass coming. And you need players like that in a team. You need players that can score goals. You need players that can defend. Like Callum McGill, he can read a penalty kill really well. He's known for that. He blocks shots. He knows exactly where the shot's going to go, and he gets himself in the way of it. And that's his role. But there's players that can read the game that way. There's players that can read the game passing, shooting, know what goalies are going to do. It's just you got to know your role in a team. And yeah, I think, like to answer your question, John Dunbar's probably the best player I've played with that can read the game.
Oh, that's brilliant. I mean, I was thinking more old school because I never seen him play at his peak. But Kyle Horn loved to.
Yes.
I mean, when he was the Dragon, when he was at the end, and maybe not as quick as he once was. I'm trying to be polite here, Kyle. If you're watching, don't hit me. But he could read a game.
Yeah, 100%. Like I said about Callum McGill, Kyle Horn was amazing at reading the game in defensive zone. I mean, he
looked like he had so much time.
Yeah, when he came here, he was, like you said, again, don't hit me, Kyle, but he was a little bit slower than he once was in his prime. So he had to be a step ahead of everybody, and his brain was probably 2 steps ahead of them, but his feet just couldn't keep up with him anymore. But in his prime, I mean, I never got to see him either because I was too young. I never quite watched the Elite League until he'd moved out of it. But watching him coming here, knowing that he wasn't quite in his prime, it was amazing to watch. And I read quite a lot off Kyle. Kyle helped me growing up through the senior ranks, and he done a lot for my career growing up. He was kind of took me under his wing a little bit and helped me out on training, shouting him a year through games and stuff. And yeah, he was amazing to watch.
Wow, there's a shout out to Horner there. Yeah. Well done, thank you for that. Right, getting to the end of this, how do you feel your personal form's been in the last few games?
I feel like the team, I've not quite played a full 60. I've been good through spells. It's good to hear some fans compliment, and you yourself compliment me after some games saying I've played well. I mean, personally, it's a bit like taking a whole team on my back. I'd like to be better. Everyone wants to be better. You can't just accept mediocrity. I don't feel I've been mediocre, but I feel like I need to do more. I need to, like you said, play my role a bit more. Be that defensive defenseman. When I get the chance to go offensive, I need to do that. I mean, I scored 2 goals in Milton Keynes. One of them was on the penalty kill, and it just happened that I was in my defensive role, seen the opportunity to go, and that's when I scored. The second one was a bit the same on the power play, creeping back door. Dunny again made that perfect play, bounced straight out in front of me, and I put it in the net. So goal wise, I think I've been doing all right for a defenseman. Points wise, again, I've been chipping in with the odd assist here and there. But I feel defensively I've been playing pretty well as well. On the penalty kill, like you said at the start, I've been blocking quite a few shots. Yep. And I feel like that's just as important as putting the puck in the net at some points, because sometimes Callum's coming across the net, he's not quite in position. It's been a quick pass across and a quick shot, and I've got to get in the way of that before it gets to Callum, because Callum's not quite set yet. But sometimes it doesn't. It gets through me and Callum's there to make the save, and it's kind of a relief when the puck gets through and you've kind of been in the way and Callum makes that save. It definitely lifts a lot of weight off your shoulders.
It's been an absolute pleasure watching you play so far this season, Liam, and long may it continue. Just before we finish, just have the last word to you, to the fans that are watching in. They'll all be Liam Stenton fans, because nobody's going to watch a podcast with your name in it. It's not a Liam Stenton fan, is it? So a word to your fans and Sharks fans in general, Liam.
Keep coming to support. I feel like you guys have been great so far. That Shark Zone up the top and Stand F, I think it is. They've been great. I've spoke to Dave Cochran a couple of times and I've been kept saying make as much noise as you can. The boys love it. It's an extra player on the ice for us. It helps us penalty kills, power plays. Make as much noise as you can. Make sure that we know that you're there, and we'll try and perform as well as we can for a full 60. Hopefully this weekend we bring back 4 points.
Liam, thank you so much for your time today. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, share and subscribe the channel, and we look forward to speaking to you again soon. Take care, everyone.
Thanks, Andy. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, Liam.